MoveOn has joined forces with Voter Action, Public Citizen, and the Center for Corporate Policy, as well as the American Independent Business Alliance, to stem the tide in favor of corporations and work towards the passage of a Free Speech for People amendment.
Do you think corporations are people?
No.
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 Absolutely not.
On January 21st, 2010, the U.S. Supreme Court, in a 5-4 decision, ruled in Citizens United versus FEC that corporations have free speech rights in the political process and can make unlimited expenditures from their general treasury funds in elections.
The Supreme Court has engaged in a direct attack on the First Amendment and on our democracy.
After the passage of the Health Care Reform Bill on March 23, 2010, the 5 million members of MoveOn voted in a poll to determine MoveOn's next national priorities. Overwhelmingly, the MoveOn membership agreed that ending corporate personhood was the #1 priority for their organization.
We're here today as part of a National Week of Action sponsored by MoveOn to publicly kick off our campaign to root out corporate influence in our democracy. A really big job, okay? Let's not kid ourselves about this. This is a big job.
For me, like, I mean, you know, my other issues, climate change and so forth, the things that I'm really passionate about, to me, this underlies all of them. And that's where I feel like there's a couple of ways that we can use this issue to really do coalition building. And it's not about MoveOn being the center of that so much as, okay, you know, like you were saying, let's do some branding of the issue, you know, or anti-branding of the issue, and work with different groups, all of these incredible organizations that are doing, I mean, I was thinking, wow, a lot of my friends are farmers and doing NOFA stuff, you know, and they're obsessed with all these agriculture.
It's a critical moment in our democracy. It's a crisis. And it requires, as it has in the past, that we the people stand up and demand that we are going to govern. We the people are going to govern, not we the corporations.
It would just be so amazing if instead of being so fractionalized like we are with all these different little bits and pieces, if everybody came together on this one, I mean, it would be amazing.
So what have we done? The moment this ruling came out, we were ready to launch freespeechforpeople.org, calling on Congress to pass and send to the states for ratification a constitutional amendment that restores the First Amendment and fair elections to the people. Freespeechforpeople.org. 80+% across the board, Republicans, Democrats, Independents, oppose this ruling. They understand that what's at stake here is far more than this one election cycle, far more than even our elections. It's about we as a society and who is going to govern. Who is going to govern. The state of Vermont had a law in the 1990s dealing with this Monsanto drug that many of you may know about, a bovine growth hormone drug that increased the milk production of cows. And this was seen to be extremely dangerous to human health, carcinogenic type qualities, as well as to animal health. And it was banned in large parts of Europe, in Australia, and other parts of the world. All Vermont sought to do was label milk products that were using the Monsanto, coming from dairies using the Monsanto drug, and give people a choice whether they wanted to purchase that milk product or whether they want to choose a different kind of milk product where the drug was not being used. What did the industrial dairy associations do? They came in, they sued the state of Vermont on free speech grounds. They said, we as corporations should be able to decide whether or not we put this label on our milk products, and they won. They struck down this basic labeling law on First Amendment grounds. So now we've taken the First Amendment, the free speech rights of we the people, we've now turned that on its head and allowed corporations to hide critical information to protect human health. That's how there's been this erosion of the First Amendment. We have done this before, 27 times before. You know, Doris Haddon, otherwise known as Granny D, recently passed away at the age of 100. I know many of you may have known her personally and know of her. She was a remarkable woman. At the age of 89, she she decided she was going to walk across the country to help overhaul our campaign finance system, to reclaim our democracy. So she set out from California, and she walked, and she met people along the way, and people housed her. She didn't have any grand plans to how she was going to get across the country. She just got up there and she started walking at 89. It took her 14 months. 3,200 miles later, she turned 90 in the process, and then she came to Washington. She reached Washington, D.C. When she passed away, I thought about the fact that when she was born, the 19th Amendment to the Constitution guaranteeing women the right to vote had not even been ratified by the states. She saw in her lifetime 9 amendments passed by the United States Congress, ratified by the states. We can do this. We have done it before. In the name of Granny G, we ought to do it a 28th time to reclaim our democracy and our Constitution. Thank you very much.